Hey everybody. Looks like we're here. Let me grab my chat real quick and bring it out. See if there's anybody else in here with me right now. Looks like not. We got 5 viewers in here. Nobody's saying, "Hey, Farm Dog, how you doing?" There we go. Got Farm Dog saying something in here now. Sorry about the delays on getting this ready. There we go. See if I can see. Yeah, that is a double die. I found this today. Wasn't sure if it was a double die or not through my little loop. I look at the microscope and it's definitely a double die. I'm going to take just a few minutes here to finish putting the final touches on the flip inserts. A Sir Reg, Timothy Morrell, Thomas, variety coins and carnivorous plants. Every time I read that, it comes back to me like, feed me, Seymour. That's just the way it looks to me. Let's show you guys how random this gig is with putting the names into the flip inserts. I just grab one. I don't read them. Don't look at them. I just get them in there in the right direction. Hey, Wild Bill, how you doing? So today we've got a 1951D roll. 51D is actually a pretty tough roll to come by. But there are a number of nice RPMs in 1951D. There's a couple of OMMs, and there's a really nice double die obverse. And 51Ds are not very well known at all for having double die reverses, although I believe there are a couple minor ones out there. Well, variety coins and carnivorous plants, it's a good thing for you to get watching now so you know exactly what's going on. I'm sure you probably already do. Been watching for a while, I guess. That way when you have the opportunity to catch on and get in, we'll be ready for you. I only look at these names enough to be able to get them right side up in the holders. As I'm putting them in the holders, I'm not paying attention to who's going in what direction, right, at what point. I try not to grab the same name I grabbed the time before, but if I do, it happens to work out that way. And otherwise, the only thing I'm doing is just sticking a name in a holder, sticking a name in a holder, sticking a name in a holder, and just keep doing that. Keep doing it until I'm out of holders or out of names. Either way, if they don't end at the same time, then I've got a problem. I do have reveals set up for next week already. There will be one special reveal, if I can keep everything together for it. I will be having a special reveal this coming week. And those will probably be sold during one of the regular reveal broadcast periods. You guys probably want to see this. This is kind of important right now for you guys to know about. This show's coming up tomorrow. These coins will be offered tomorrow. We've got, 35, 40 coins, something like that, being offered along with our reveals. And we're looking at a case of a lot of value, an NGC graded, certified, toned coins. It's beautiful toned coins. I mean, some of these things are extremely bright, peacock colored. Some of them are pink tones and silver tones and all kinds of different kinds of toning, different colors of toning. acquired these coins over a period of time, over a lengthy period of time, and decided to start getting them out and send them to the grading companies to see what they would say about them. I sent them to NGC. Easier to deal with for me. And turns out a lot of them came back with pretty nice grades on them. So we've got a lot of beautiful tone coins going to be coming up this week. Going to be tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow starting at 8 Eastern Time. We'll do that, and we'll run a few reveals. It should be a fun night. Get you guys to join me. That way we have a good time. More in the party, the better. And we're done here. I am ready to open this roll. Alright, get this one out of the way. That's a 1970 plain that I found. Pulled it out of basically a bunch of junk memorial coins, and decided to check it because it was still at least partially shiny. Turns out it was a double die, so that's interesting. Alright, there's that end taken care of. Get this end taken care of. And comes the wrapper over the coins. This 1951 D roll. There's our coins. And here are our flips. And we're ready to go. Coin number 1 goes to Ryan Havoc. Coin number 1 to Ryan Havoc. Let's see what we have here. Let me flip it around, take a look at the serifs. There we go. It gives me a better shot. Let me zoom it in just a little bit. Had to get my light ready. There we go. Okay, we got no RPM here. Let's check up top for a double die. Double die, if we find the good double die, the one that's FS listed, it's going to have a lot of doubling in God we trust. It's going to be very well noticeable. This one shows itself as being a roll end coin. Because of the spotting we have on it. Definitely a roll ender. Got nothing else on this one, so coin number 1 is going to go in the normal pile for Ryan Havoc. And we're going to move on to coin number 2. Coin number 2 is going to go to Robert Adams. Cuds are us. So search his group on Facebook if you like collecting cuds. Robert's actually gone quite far with his cuds and identifying them, taking pictures of them. He's got more different, interesting cuds than I've ever seen. Of course, I've only personally found maybe a half a dozen cuds my entire time searching. As far as varieties and errors go, they are quite scarce. They only happen during the period of time while a die is actually falling apart. So you're not going to see a lot of them before the die actually becomes garbage and has to be replaced. That was coin number 2. Now we're moving on to coin number 3. Coin number 3 will go to Joe McBride. Let's see what Joe's got. Well, so we may have a minor RPM here. Let me zoom in and check it out. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. I'm not really sure if that's just a little bit of die wear or if it's actually a split upper serif. I'll give it a better look later, but I don't think we have anything here yet. We do have a mint mark that's in the right place for the possible double die. It's always going to be a really high placed mint mark, and it's going to be centered toward the right just a little bit. That's the marker for the big double die. And this is not one of them. What do we got going on here? Something sticking. Okay. Got some spots on this coin too. So we may end up with a spotty roll. Do not like spotty rolls. 51D is so hard to get though. You just don't see these very often. And Tim Morrell, how you doing, buddy? Wade Reynolds. All right, that'll be Joe McBride's coin number 3. Now on to coin number 4. Let's see who it's for. It's for Joe McBride again. What do you know? Grabbing these names completely at random, putting them in here, and I always end up with a duplicate once in a while, where I get one person, one after the other. Hello, Mr. Cresson. Don't have anything on that one. Yeah, move on. No RPM. No eyelid that I can see. Nothing doubled in the motto. And nothing on Liberty. Let me move it over and take a look, flip it and take a look at the reverse. See what might have happened to the reverse here. Let me zoom in just a little bit and get it refocused. Make life a lot easier for you and me. There we go. Big die break there on the T. Nothing else going on the reverse on this coin though. Unfortunately so. All right. There's Joe's coin. Number 4. And now for coin number 5. Coin number 5 for Andrew Forbes. Oops. And here we go. What's that? No. Thought for a minute we might have a RPM, but it doesn't appear so. Nice little hump down there below the 9. Sometimes I get flash out from this light when I'm working with coins under the scope. It's part of the exposure and the gain balance on the camera. It's not really my light or the scope, it's the camera itself doing that. And nothing on the obverse here. Yes, I am on live chat, Tim. Did I miss somebody's question? I'm reading up, I don't see anything I missed. But I am on live chat. Next one, coin number 6 goes to Adam Chambers. And we got a super marker there. I wonder if we have anything to use it for. I'm not seeing anything right off, but we do have a beautiful die scratch right there. Let's see if we've got William's question about some news. Did I hear the news? I'm sorry, no, I did not hear the news. What news are we talking about, William? Thank you for helping me out with that. Sometimes I become deaf and dead to the world while I'm looking through coins. It's just it's a habit. I pay a lot of attention to the coins. Yes, please do tell me the news. The 58p rolls that are hard to get open. Yes, I do know about those. I think I've sold a few of those, haven't I? You gonna tell me there's something great in one of them? There's 7, Stonecutter. Coin number 7 now. So I'm imagining that you probably got one of them open and you're going to tell me about something you found in it. Found 5 doubled eyelids. Very nice. That's in a 58 Philadelphia. I'm not sure I know of a 58 Philadelphia doubled eyelid. That'd be a very nice one to take a look at. Ooh, gifts. We got nothing so far. Only 7 coins in, though. We got nothing so far. Coin number 8 will go to Wanda. Hi, Wanda. Yeah, a second. Let me pull this down. Make it a little easier for you guys to see what's going on. We're going to do the dust cam. There we go. Make it a little easier to read the names. There we go. Oh, I don't think a phone's going to help you much, either way you look at it. I think it's going to probably take a microscope to really help you with what you're looking for, something to take pictures of. There's 9 goes to Yo Man. I hope we find some goodies in here. I tell you, I really do. Nope, seen that die before. We know that hump down below the 9. We know there's not anything else on here for doubling. There's a big old die dot next to the I of in. Looks like it's a period before the word starts. But it looks like we've got nothing going on with this particular coin. And we'll take it off and move on to the next. Coin number 9. Now coin number 10. Coin number 10 will go to Sireg. And this one is for Sireg. No. Still nothing so far. Still hoping. 1/5 of the way through the roll, we've got nothing yet. Well, I guess I should probably change the title to equal what we're actually doing. Let me take care of that real quick. So this is going to be reveal number 201. Which means the 200 probably had the wrong title. Number 201, this is a 1951 D. And who did I say this thing was wrapped by? Let's get the wrapper out here so I can see it. What does it say here? Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. But it's a Pittsburgh. There we go. Now it looks right. Coin number 11. Coin number 11 goes to Son of a Silver Stacker. Let's see what he got. Nope, we've got that die scratch right there, that Southwest die scratch next to the D, and we know there's nothing else on this particular coin because of that. other than the possibility of maybe a struck through or something that is a coin-to-coin error, which we'll look for now, but we've already seen this die, so we know there's no doubling on it. Give it a quick once over for stuff. It doesn't have any stuff, so we can move on to the next one. Next one's going to go to Bill Cresson. Mr. Cresson, this one's for you. Let's see what we have here. Well, it looks like not what I thought. I thought there were 2 serifs on the bottom, but that's actually a little speck of white dust. Almost made it shine up like it had 2 serifs. False alarm. Hello, CVS. We do have false alarms from now and then. Here and there, just once in a while. It's part of the hobby. You look, you think you saw something, you look at it harder and you find out, no, I didn't find anything. But then you know when you're looking for something that has premium value, it has premium value because it's not easy to find. And, well, if it was easy to find, we'd be finding them everywhere. If not easy to find, then we just have to have patience. Hope one pops along someday. Oh. We just got to be patient. Okay, that was Andrew Forbes, coin number 13. Now coin number 14. Coin number 14 is going to go to Farm Dog. Well, Farm Dog got here just in time, right? Bummer. We know this die. We've seen it before, and it has nothing on it. Oh, or no, we're flapping through an original roll here. We keep running into the same dies over and over again. So that proves to us that we have an original roll. So I hear it's snowing up in the northern Midwest. Brady Douglas came on this morning and said that they had snow up there this morning. Yeah, no, I wasn't able to attend the auction yesterday evening. I would have almost liked to have actually seen this occur so that I would know exactly what was going on and exactly how it was taken care of. I'm sure everybody did their best job of getting the trolls out, but I'm really wanting to try to figure out some good way of maybe keeping the trolls out. I don't know if I have to maybe make the videos private, and I don't know how to do that. I mean, I do know how to do that, but I don't know how to do it. Make the videos private, yet still welcome new people to show up and just keep out the trolls. I don't see how that can happen. I don't see that as being easily possible. Okay, Mike Birchman, not Mike Byers. Mike Birchman gets his. Now Adam Connor. Coin number 16. Mr. Connor gets this. Well, this one's got a little die chip inside the 5 of the date. So it's a little die break one. always keeping my eyes peeled wide open for any goodies. But of course, there is some chance that I could be missing things, so anything that I happen to miss, I will catch later when I go back through the roll again for a recheck. I do a recheck on all the coins, pull out anything that's a die variety, look it up, try to find a match for it. If I do, then I'll annotate that die number on a new flip insert for your coin, and you will receive your coin with a new flip insert. If that die variety happens to be one that I need to photograph for the website, there's Eric Beyer here. If it happens to be one that I need to photograph for the website, I'll photograph the coin, make that new flip insert for you, and tell you that your coin's a plate coin. Plate coin is the coin photographed for a cause, and this cause being the Copper Coins website. And then I'll sign your flip insert to show that I'm the one who handled that coin, and yes, I am reassuring anyone who looks at it that yes, I did photograph that particular coin. And then, if that listing happens to be a new listing, your flip insert will have new listing and the month in there and the date in the month and year form as to when it was found. And if you happen to have the new listing that got the photograph for the plate coin, then it'll have both new listing and plate coin. Oh, I hate picking out dud rolls. I wish this were higher quality here, because if they're duds, I at least want you guys to get really nice coins. I don't see anything real spectacular here. Here's number 19, Paul Hampton. Where'd I go? There I am. Lost the coin there for a second. But we're back. We now return you to your regular programming. We interrupt your regular programming for a special report. Going through a roll here. Not finding much of anything for die varieties. But we have found a new chemical element. This chemical element turns black on coins. And it's called copper chromium dioxide. I don't know that for sure. I just made that up. Seems like the news is good at making stuff up these days. Here we go. Well, there's another one with the hump down below the 9, so we know that this one is also a normal coin. Not going to have a die variety there. Yeah, I'm going to have to be watching very closely on Jessica's broadcast because she says it doesn't happen on my broadcast, but it does happen on hers. I disagree with her on that. It has happened in my broadcast before, just not as much and not as often. But that's why we started modding everyone who we knew was a good person on the channel. So anyone watching pops up with a gray name, we know they're either new or they are new by the fact that they're a troll. So we have to watch them. After we watch the new people for a little while, we'll go ahead and make them moderators too. Here's Mike Birchman for you. We're almost halfway through the roll at this point. Ooh, there's a nice close 5. This is kind of what it looks like when you get the big double die. The D is up close, and it's moved over toward the 5 a bit. This is not the big double die. As much as I want to hope it isn't it. Yeah, we'll move on over to the reverse and see if there's anything on the reverse that we need to talk about on this one. Nothing there. So we'll put Mike Birchman's coin in there and move on to number 22 for Eric Beyer. Number 22 for Eric Beyer does not appear to be an RPM. No doubled eyelid. Nothing on the motto or Liberty. So we'll move on here and see what we can find. Well, another Mike Birchman for you. Nope. 1 coin, not 2, Chuck. There we go. 1 coin, not 2. Nothing going on there. Nothing on the obverse. Time to check the reverse. Always check the reverses. Doesn't matter whether it's a date that you usually find stuff on or one that you don't. I tell this story often, but about 10, 12 years ago, I had a friend going through a roll of coins, ran upon a 1982 small date zinc. Found a massive double die in it. Nobody had known it existed. It was new to the world. This was probably 2006, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there. We're talking about something that had been around for decades, with no knowledge that it was out there. And boom, suddenly one shows up. And of course, after one shows up, people start checking their rolls and start checking their coins. And eventually a second one popped up, and I think maybe a third one did. That's all that's been found since. More than a decade out there. And still fewer than half a dozen even known. That one initial coin sold for over $8,000 to a private collector. Kind of stuff that simply does not come up often. That's how you go through your change and make a lot of money. You have to be looking for the things that nobody else even knows about. Here's Bill Crescent again. Happen to find something that's massive and nobody really knows about it out there. And guess what? You end up being the limelight of the numismatic community for a period of time while the news gets out there and people find out about it. I've seen nothing in this so far, and we've now been through half the roll. Unfortunate to run into a dud in a roll like this, but you always got to take your chances. Never know what we're going to pop up with. And we still do have a chance of finding something really good in this. I'm not saying we're not going to. I'm just kind of spreading the reality of the situation to everyone. We've been through half the roll and we haven't found anything. We could easily end up going through the other half of the roll, not finding anything. So a couple of things I have coming up. I talked to you guys about it the other evening. I have a number of 1961 D rolls that all came together. And they're all in those tubes that are almost impossible to open. Ones that the coins are just kind of stuck in them inside the tube, and even the caps are really hard to get off. You use a heat gun on those things just right and develop your technique through practice. You'll find that heat guns work really well in getting the coins out of those holders. Well, I can do that. And I plan on doing that so we can go through one of those rolls on a reveal. Here's the special part of it, though. In these tubes, I was finding, out of the dozen or so tubes that I've got, more than half of them show RPMs on the ends, and they're different RPMs, which tells me these rolls are loaded with RPMs. Should be very nice. Oh, sorry about that. And then, another thing I have that we need to discuss going through at some point is a mint sealed bag of 1989 Philadelphia. Well, 89 Philadelphia is really known for having a decent share of double die obverses and double die reverses. So I'm actually quite excited to have the opportunity to go through this bag. And what we'll do is a reveal of the top 100 coins in the bag. That will help determine the price of the rolls in the rest of the bag. We'll sell through most of the rest of the bag before the show's over. Okay, I have to check some of these things real carefully to make sure that it doesn't have anything on there that I should be paying closer attention to. Going through, flip over, take a look at the reverse now. And here it is. Late die state. Found some pretty decent die markers on some of these, and the die markers aren't necessarily only for double dies and repunch mint marks. Pretty much any die can have really good markers. It's just, are you going to use those markers to identify anything? Well, probably not, because there's nothing there to identify. So those markers, I call them wasted markers. Here's CVS. CVS for a next coin in the roll. A decent looking 1951D here. But it's a normal coin. There's no variety on it. I might actually have better luck just to go grab a tubed roll and go through a tubed roll looking for die varieties. I've got a lot of tubed rolls. I generally try to do the bank wrapped rolls because then that becomes a real surprise for everyone. And then you go through a bank wrapped roll, you know that no one's been through it before. Adam Chambers. Adam Chambers for the next coin. And the next coin is, well, there's that Southwest die scratch again. It tells me that we don't have a die variety here. Okay, nothing in that one either. Here's coin number 32 now. Goes to Wild Bill. Wild Bill's here watching this evening. He's straight up behind home plate under the press box. Likes to sit in that position in case he gets any pop straight back flies. He can catch them right there. Yeah, we don't have nets behind home plate here. Everybody's at risk. Did you guys hear about that game the other day between the Dodgers and the Braves? The Dodgers scored more runs inside the first inning of a postseason game than any in the history of baseball. They scored 11 runs in the top of the first inning. 11 runs. If I was a Braves fan, that'd be about time to go home. I got better things to do tonight. Sit here and watch my team lose an 11-point deficit to get started. It's like a plus 10 handicap. All right. Take a look at the reverse now. Oh, just hit that stupid microphone with my nose. Got to be up close to it, otherwise I'm not going to get that broadcast voice out to you guys. Be somewhere back in the background. I'll sound like someone talking to a trash can or something. I'd rather be right up front where you can hear me. That's Thomas. Gets the next normal coin in the roll. And here's number 34, Steel Horses. See what Steel Horses ends up with here. See if we can change the luck. One coin can change the luck. We've seen it before. Remember that 55D roll a couple of days ago? One of the last coins in the roll was an RPM number 4. It was a beautiful, nice major RPM, and it was the only one in the roll. And it was right there on the end of the roll. That's the kind of stuff that you don't want to give up on. It happens. It really does. I've seen it a number of times. Last coin can come up and be the one that makes or breaks the entire roll. Unfortunately, when we're sharing a roll like this, the last coin only makes a difference really to the one person who ends up with the last coin by the nature of the draw. Okay, we've got nothing special on this one. Moving right along. Number 35 now goes to Ryan Havoc. Number 35. 35. Wasn't that Steve Garvey's number? Back when Steve Garvey played for the Dodgers back in the 70s? Wasn't he jersey number 35? Was it somebody famous was jersey number 35 in baseball? That's a pretty high jersey number, but I keep thinking somebody famous was jersey number 35. It's like Hank Aaron was number 44. That was a pretty high number. Social distancing. Yes, and the last roll was over 50% varieties. Turns out to be very, very neat for everybody except me because I have to go through figuring out what all those are, get them separated, photographed, get new flip inserts made for them, and get them out to you. All right, number 36 now. 36 will be for Wild Bill. Let's see what Wild Bill ends up with. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we just have another normal coin, as with a whole lot of the other ones in this roll. In fact, all of them so far. Sean Jerome. Oh, he was number 6 for the Dodgers and Padres. Wow, I was sure that he had a 2-digit. Who was it that was a 35? Was that Ron Say or was it Kirk Gibson? I keep thinking one of the Dodgers was a 35. I very clearly see it in my mind. Maybe it was somebody less common like Reggie Smith, or maybe it was Tommy Lasorda. Maybe he wore 35. Yep, I heard Steve Garvey, number 6. I oddly thought that Steve Garvey had a 2-digit number. Ran into this and read on Wexler about DD classes. Aha. You were talking about classes of hub doubling. The classes of hub doubling are 9 in number in total. Class 1, and all of them are basically a result-based classification system that we people who've been doing this for a while and are kind of versed up on double dies, if you mention that, oh yeah, the other day I found a 51D, it was a class 4, well then a guy will know if you're talking about a class 4, that's generally going to be details near the center of the design that are doubled in one direction, be it north, south, east, west, northeast, southwest. That's what class 4 is. It's an offset hub doubling. The 1984 doubled ear is a class 4. The 1936 DDO number 1 is a class 4. So in order, class 1 is rotated hub doubling, meaning that the hub was spun in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction with the center of the rotation somewhere near the middle of the die. So you get the outer edge of lettering doubled more than the inner area. The further you go out in the design, the more doubled it is. So, for instance, the 1955 doubled die, the big one. The 1972 doubled die, most of them, including the big one. Then we have class 2, which is distorted hub doubling. Distorted hub doubling is where you have a hub that hubs a die after the die has become distorted because of too much heat. It comes back, it gets its second hubbing or subsequent hubbing, and it has changed shape between hubbings. Usually that's going to be a shrunken or a extended design, and your rehubbing is going to appear as lettering closer to the rim. So you'll end up with doubling that goes directly toward the rim or directly toward the inside. You generally won't see much for any doubling close to the center of the design. It's mostly going to be toward the outside of the design. Then we have class 3. Class 3 is modified hub doubling, or actually design hub doubling is number 3. Design hub doubling is one design hubbed over a different design on the die to give you the appearance of two designs together, whether it be something very minor or very major. Neither hub is messed up. The die isn't messed up until both hubs have put their impression into the die. You have the 1960D with the large date, or the small date over the large date. That's a class 3. Class 3 is design hub doubling. In class 4, the offset hub doubling, I already explained that one. It's where everything is doubled north, south, east, or west. You have the 1984 doubled ear is class 4. Also, the 1983 double die reverse is class 4. Now I got coin number 41. And that goes to Tim Morrell. Bob Welch. Number 34 is Fernando Valenzuela. Maybe that's who I'm remembering. Big old Fernando Valenzuela out there on the mound. I remember all of these people from the '88 World Series. I was in Germany when that happened. So you class 4 offset hub doubling, you move to the class 5, pivoted hub doubling. Pivoted hub doubling works very much in the same way as rotated hub doubling, that you have a rotation to the clockwise or counterclockwise direction. But the difference between pivoted hub doubling and rotated hub doubling is your center of rotation moves to the rim, so that you have, from the rim across the design to the other side, you have doubling that gets stronger as you move along. The 1995 doubled die is a class 5 pivoted hub doubling. And around the date, which is near your pivot point, you don't have much, if any, doubling at all. And the doubling gets really strong as you get directly opposite where the date would be, which is the rim area between Liberty and In God We Trust, making those areas much stronger. 9 classes. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's class 5. And then class 6 is called distended hub doubling. Distended hub doubling, not really sure 100% the cause of distended hub doubling. There is just a little bit of, I guess, it's not really argument, it's a little disagreement of sorts as to exactly what causes class 9 hub doubling. It's either the hub gets flattened out while it's trying to create a design into dies that were not properly annealed, and it gets mashed and becomes thicker than normal. And as it puts more impressions into dies, it keeps getting thicker. And in that, the design is actually stretched out larger and longer than it should be. And then we have class 7. Class 7 modified hub doubling. Now, class 6 is where you see most of your extra thickness doubled dies. They're all listed in class 6. Now, class 7 was for modified hub doubling. And we're not 100% sure that ever existed or will ever exist. I'm not sure. Modified hub doubling was generally used on the 1970 Lincoln Sense that had the bar across the top of the 7. We were looking at those as being a low 7 over high 7 or a high 7 over low 7, where the bar was different on the 7 than it was in most of the rest of the date. But given that that class was not very widespread as far as its use or its explanation, it's really just not very typically used to describe hub doubling. And then we have class 8 hub doubling. Class 8 hub doubling is tilted hub doubling. Now, there's a little bit of a disagreement as to exactly what tilted hub doubling is, but I always refer back to the very first coin that was given that classification was a 1964 doubled die obverse, where the letters of in and part of the G of God was doubled in a clockwise direction. Then you look down at the L in Liberty, and it had a long spike coming out of the top of the Liberty. Top of the L. That's tilted hub doubling. Tilted hub doubling to me means that the hub and the die were not flush with one another. They weren't plumb with one another when the hub was impressed into the die. It partially impressed the design in there and then was lifted, and the die moved just a little bit, and when the hub went in for the second impression, it was moved slightly. But it will only be along an arc near the outside of the design because of the nature of what tilted hub doubling means. Tilted means it's tilted over, or cocked to one side, tilted over. Some people with the doubling that shows mostly in the center, that's all in a single squeeze process, which I relate to as class 9, the 9th class. Hello, Hidden. 9th class of hub doubling. Only happens on the single squeeze, years. Only happens near the center of the design. And it happens during that single squeeze process where the hub comes down and kisses the die, but the die was not in proper alignment with the hub when it first started, and then it snaps into place. When it snaps into place, the hub continues to create the design onto the die, but you've already got this one small area where that die was impressed with a design out of kilter. It works kind of like class 4, except class 4 requires a lifting of the hub. Class 9 does not. Class 9 is for single squeeze, class 4 is for multiple squeeze. So there's your 9 classes. Hello, Eric. We have unfortunately pulled what I believe could turn out to be a dud roll. 1951D, haven't found any die varieties yet. Sean Jerome, I do not understand what you just said. Somebody to Philadelphia double has our number 6, if I'm not mistaken. I don't understand, Sean. Now we got number 47. 47 goes to Techstar. This is Techstar's coin. Looks like we're going to turn up a completely normal roll here with no die varieties. $47 out of 50 coins done now. We've run into nothing so far. Carter the Rebel, I don't know much of anything about Canadian cents. This show is generally all about Lincoln cents. And here, once again, we're into another normal coin, it appears. And this will be the last of this week's reveals before moving on to the auction tomorrow evening, where I will once again be offering reveals for your consideration. Tomorrow evening I'll have a reveal available on a 1955 Philadelphia original bank wrapped roll, a 1952D original roll, and then a 1960D large date roll. Often find a lot of RPMs in those. We'll also have available a 1959D roll. Those are known for having a number of RPMs in them as well. So that's for tomorrow's auction. And number 50, Stonecutter. Mr. Dowdle will get the final coin in the roll. And let's see what that looks like. All right, nothing here on the reverse. Let's flip it over and see what happened to the other side. And it is, very toned down. Unfortunately, it's very toned down to the brown color. Don't think that'll come up. Very unfortunate. Well, I appreciate everyone showing up this evening. Don't forget that we've got a wonderful auction coming up tomorrow, The Colors of Fall. It's a special presentation of toned coins. Many of them are going to be beautifully toned coins. All of the ones that you see in this image are going to be offered. Many of these are NGC toned coins, NGC graded coins that are toned, Other ones are going to be toned coins that I've pulled out of rolls over a number of years. And they'll be available tomorrow evening starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate it, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the auction. Have a great night, folks.